Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so very excited and ready to share this video with you guys today. As you can tell from the title, I want to talk about the best neighborhoods to live in London. I'm going to give you the ins and outs of some of the trendiest, some of the most tranquil, and some of the most hipster, I should say, areas to live in London. So if you want to know more, make sure to stick around. For those of you guys that don't know who I am, hello, hi, how's it going? My name is Anika and I'm an American living in London. And in today's video, I want to really give you the ins and outs of which neighborhood you should live in London. Now, you might be someone who is moving to the city for the first time, or maybe you're looking to move to somewhere new in London and you want to know the ins and outs. Well, don't worry, I'm here to share my experience with you. Now, London is truly a melting pot of cultures, and each neighborhood is a reflection of different cultures and different lifestyles in London. When I first moved here, I was going based on what I thought was perfect London, but let's be real, perfect London or the perfect London neighborhood is so dependent on your personal choice and your personality and where you are going to feel like you are at home. So if you like the arts, that might be a certain part of London. If you like going out or bars and nightlife, that's a totally different part of London. Or maybe you like really quiet, leafy, green streets where there are families. That is a totally different part of London. The great thing is that London has a different part of the city for everyone. Honestly, the types of people I've come across, everyone lives in different neighborhoods. You get so much out of each neighborhood. And London is massive. And what the great part of London is no matter which neighborhood you're actually in, you end up having your own small community and your own small area that you know. And then of course you can come into the city center and to central London. But where you live can totally depend on what your personality is and what you want out of living in that neighborhood. So I'm gonna share the trendiest and the best and the most exciting places to live. So please take all of my opinions with a grain of salt because this is my opinion, but hopefully it helps you decide where you want to live in London. Now, I always recommend that you actually visit a neighborhood or maybe even stay overnight in a Airbnb or just get to know a neighborhood personally before you actually move into it. But I know for some people watching this video, you might be relocating, you might be moving for a job, or maybe you just don't know London or have never visited London before and you're looking for an opinion. Please take it with a grain of salt, but know that I'm going to try to give you my unbiased opinion of all these beautiful neighborhoods in London. Now, some of these neighborhoods I've actually lived in and some of them I've only visited. So again, I'm going to give you my outsider opinion. They're all amazing, but my biggest tip to you is actually to write down what is important to you in your neighborhood. For example, for me, I wanted to make sure that I was walking distance between transport. I knew I would be commuting a lot to my office, but I also knew that I wanted to be well connected because I didn't have a car at the time of living in central London and living in some of these neighborhoods. And because of that, I wanted to make sure my house was located next to a tube station. And even now, I'm very close to a train station as well. So overall, transport was really important to me. And be very specific of how close you want to be to transport. For example, I want it to be within 5 minutes or less of walking distance. So sometimes people can say walking distance, but walking distance might mean 15 minutes of a walk. So that was the most important to me. I also wanted to make sure there was a grocery store nearby so it's easier for me to shop. And I also wanted to make sure there was some like restaurants or things to do around my local neighborhood so I didn't always have to go into central London. For me, those things were important. But if you have a family, for example, maybe a park is important or maybe a good school district. So really make sure you list out what's important to you and then go on the hunt to find the right neighborhood. Right, now that we've gone ahead and made a list of requirements of what you need for living in a certain neighborhood, let's actually talk about the most vibrant and the most popular neighborhoods to live in London. So the first neighborhood I'm going to list is Notting Hill. And the reason I'm saying Notting Hill first is because it's cute, it's charming, it's colorful. It is what everyone knows. I remember watching the movie Notting Hill and that's what I thought of London. And I always thought of London as the Victorian white houses. And that is what you're gonna get in Notting Hill. Very typical West London houses. Some are very colorful, but what's really great is Notting Hill has pretty good connections into central London. There's lots of tube stops, but what I really like is that it is very charming. You have the market, you have lots of places for restaurants and just out and about, and there is some shopping and things to do in Notting Hill as well. If you really like a fashionable, artsy neighborhood that has Portobello Market right around the corner and just lots of tourists coming in about and colorful houses, Notting Hill might be a great option for you. I personally loved visiting Notting Hill but never lived in it, but it is a lovely part of West London and highly recommendable. I'd say Notting Hill is perfect for the creative, artsy person who really wants something cool and trendy and something different and a really vibrant area to live in. Now, the next neighborhood that's super popular in London is Shoreditch. Anyone who's really into a hipster choice of lifestyle, Shoreditch really wasn't a big neighborhood when I first moved to London, but it is super up and coming. I'd say that there's lots of new buildings going up there, there's lots of flats, and it has its own hub of offices there. But what's really great about Shoreditch is it falls in the east, but at the same time, it's very close to central. It's a super young and diverse neighborhood. So if you are looking for nightlife, if you're looking to things to do, people to meet, just a bubbly, up and coming area and neighborhood, Shoreditch is great. I'd say Shoreditch is really the center of cool London. And I say that with quotes because I'm not that cool. I don't think I'm cool enough to live in Shoreditch, but it is a really cool area to live in. So if you like trendy street art, if you like cute little cozy cafes and nightlife and bars and just lots of that type of culture, then Shoreditch might be the perfect neighborhood for you. Now, the third neighborhood is what I consider upscaled and elegant, and that is the Kensington and Chelsea area. I actually lived in Chelsea for the first few years of living in London, and it is very posh, and it is beautiful, and it is a very, very quintessential West London neighborhood. So those white houses, rows and rows of flats and houses, and just lots of those Victorian houses is what you're gonna get in Kensington and Chelsea. Aside from all of that, in Kensington, you actually also get Kensington Gardens, you get the Palace, you get Hyde Park on your corner. There's just a lot of beauty in Kensington and in Chelsea, but it is a pricier area, to be completely frank. It also hosts Harrods, which is one of the most expensive shopping areas, and like Sloane Square as well. So it is a very posh and beautiful neighborhood, but probably a pricey as well. Now, Chelsea and Kensington is pretty okay connection-wise, and what I have to say, if you want to get out of the bustling city of London and you want a green luxury escape in West London, then Chelsea or Kensington might be the perfect neighborhood for you. I know there's a lot of families there. I know that there's a lot of people who are, let's say, a bit older. I wouldn't say like a young professional, but I'd say a middle-aged professional. That's probably pretty common in Chelsea and Kensington. So if you're looking for a little bit of a quiet green escape with some bit of luxury, then Chelsea or Kensington might be right for you. So the next area of London I want to talk about is Camden. Now, Camden is quite quirky, it's quite electric, it's quite up and coming, and I think that it's a great neighborhood for anyone who wants something a little bit different to the norm in London. It's truly a neighborhood that's on the edge of creativity meets individuality meets a real community of artists and creatives. I'd say it's known for its food markets as well as live music and its social scene, and I think in general it is made for someone who's really into the alternative lifestyle. And overall, it's an extremely laid back place to be. So I think if you are looking for something that's well connected in North London and something that is, you know, music, artsy, lots of things to do in the evenings and like live music performances, small quirky cafes, Camden Market is just there, Camden Lock is there. If you're looking for that kind of vibe that's quirky, fun, alternative, then maybe Camden is the right neighborhood for you. The next neighborhood I want to talk about is south of the river in Brixton. And Brixton is quintessentially Caribbean, is like the Caribbean culture vibe. That's all I know and feel when I'm in Brixton. So if you're looking for like Afro-Caribbean or anywhere that has a great jerk chicken, then you need to live in Brixton. There are so many food markets and there are so many amazing restaurants down in Brixton. It does fall south of London and there's only one tube station, but it is the Victoria line. So being on the Victoria line, it's very, very well connected. I have never worked in Brixton or lived in Brixton, but I have to say the food scene is just top level. If you love Caribbean food or you love any sort of Afro-Caribbean flavors, that is the place to be. I'd also say the great thing about Brixton is even though it's south of the river, it falls on the Victoria line, which for those of you guys that are not familiar with the tube system in London, each tube line is either slow or fast, and the Victoria line is actually the fastest in London, meaning there is a train every 90 seconds during peak time. So really, getting to Brixton, even though it's just one tube line, is super easy and you're never really waiting around for a tube or a train. So super big perk. And the last neighborhood I want to mention is Greenwich. So Greenwich, I would say, is a perfect riverside retreat that falls in southeast London, very well connected into the city as well into Canary Wharf, but it is like a green little riverside haven for anyone who wants to live close to the city, but also wants to live on the Thames River. It's super picturesque, by the way. I love everything about Greenwich. There are parks and observatories, and there are just so many beautiful parts to explore in Greenwich. And it, like I said, it's extremely well connected. So if you are a city goer or you want a little bit of the city life, I'd say Greenwich is a great place that's kind of outside of the city, but still very easy to get into central London. I think Greenwich is really actually perfect for young, single people who are working in the city. But what's really great about Greenwich is it's a great family town, borough as well. I think a lot of people living in Greenwich end up being people who work in the city but have families as well. So overall, I think it's a great neighborhood that balances both young and city life as well as family and city life. So there you have it. There is my review of some of the top neighborhoods in London. As you can see, every neighborhood is totally different. And I think what's great about London is there is a neighborhood for every type of personality. So whether you're young and single and first time in London and first time working in London, or you have a family, or you are a working professional, or maybe you're just visiting, there is a neighborhood that you can all live in that all works depending on what you're looking for. Just remember that finding the perfect neighborhood to live in is really what resonates with you and your personality. So like I said at the beginning of this video, really make a list of what is important to you and what is important to have when you decide to move to a new neighborhood. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up so I know to create more content like this for you guys in the future. I really love sharing my life as an American living in London, and if you enjoy videos like this, please make sure to hit that big red subscribe button so I know to create more content like this for you in the future. Anyways, I hope you are having an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye!